Okay. Hello, Natalie. What would you like to talk about in today's session?
I want to talk about how I find it very stressful going from online to in person a lot with our classes this year.
And why do you feel that way?
I feel like it's difficult with even during the 12-week how some days I'd have in-class person sessions and then there's other times throughout the week that I have to do a lot of online. It's kind of going from bouncing between the two.
You say bouncing between the two. Is that like a weird transition going back and forth?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult going between the having some days in session and some days off. I'd rather it be like one or the other. I feel like it being both is kind of harder to deal with.
And why do you say it's hard?
It's just difficult 'cause I feel like it's a lot more organization you have to be able to do and a lot more commitment required, which is fine, but it's just you have to be really organized going between in person and also online because sometimes when you're in person it's kind of easier to organize your things, or when you're just online it's easier to organize your things, but when it's like during the week you're doing both, it can be complicated.
So you say the word organizing a lot. Do you have a issue with organizing your schedule in such a way?
I don't have an issue, but I do like to be organized because it makes me feel more complete through the week when I have everything I need to do written down, so that way I know that I'm taking care of the things I need to be taken care of.
And has this come up with an issue in school? You happen to juggle both?
It's not an issue, it's just definitely, it was more of a challenge this past 12 week compared to like before, like past 12 weeks before that, or just being online last year for the last 3 week. It was definitely more harder to do the, when it was both compared to just one or the other.
And which one do you usually prefer?
I'd rather just do straight in person, or which is fine. And then if it had to come to like straight online, that's okay. But it's the like the mix between the both that's just where it gets complicated.
Um, is there anything else that makes things more complicated besides the online and in-person situation?
No, it's mostly just that kind of just going between the two.
Does anybody else you know deal with the same issue?
I know some of the girls I live with also have the problem because we would talk about it when we're trying to do like our work in the living room or something like that. They would agree to like it rather just being online or in person compared to the mix of both.
And I don't know if I asked you or not, but like besides organization, is that the only thing that makes it hard?
Um, Yeah, that's kind of mostly just it because going from making sure you have assignments that are due in person compared to like exams and stuff that are online, it's making sure that you like recognize you have due dates for both in person and online compared to just like one or the other.
Okay. And so basically your struggle, what I'm hearing today is that um this situation at school of you having to juggle classes between online and in person, you would rather just have them in person because it's less stress on you. And when you have to juggle both, that's more pressure for you to be more organized in order to
Mhm.
get all your work done on time.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that's the only issue you really have in school right now?
Mhm.
Okay, so is there any goals or things that you set in place for you to be more organized to
Yeah.
help you modify um your situation?
Yeah, I feel like now that it's definitely more of a challenge, I kind of have to pay more attention to my calendar and make sure I have everything written on time and I'm checking my calendar more often than what I would normally do just to make sure that I am on track.
So checking your calendar is something that is important for you and keeping yourself organized.
Mhm.
And that's usually one of the only other things that you do.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's nothing that you would have to uh say we want to set up a goal for you to stay more organized, you don't have to set any reminders or anything.
No, it was kind of more of like trial by error. So as the semester went on, I found more ways that would help myself throughout the semester remember that I have things due when they're due, if they're online or if they're in person, and kind of like categorizing like what's most important compared to what's least, and like knocking the task out by that.
Okay, so that's good. So this was, even though it was a trial by error, you learned as you went on the things that you needed to change in order for you to stay on task and stay organized for the semester at
Yeah.
school, even though it was difficult being online and in person.
Mhm.
Okay, Natalie. Thank you for your input. That was very helpful and gave me some insight about the things that you were dealing with.